Japan has a new reusable rocket and it's coming from a very unlikely source. Honda, as in Honda Civic, the car company. And they didn't just make a computer rendering of a concept that they want to build someday. They made a rocket and launched it. But then it did something even more impressive. Now, even I was pretty surprised to see that Honda made a rocket, as most people are. But for the devoted Honda fans, this has actually been a long time coming. The company started development of their own rocket engine back in 2019. This was part of a corporate mission to become more than just an automaker. Honda wants to become a mobility company, which encompasses all forms of transportation, including outer space. By 2021, Honda had successfully test-fired their very own in-house built rocket engine, which is impressive by any measure. Even an established rocket maker can take many years to get an engine design right.
So I've been trying to get into this Encore dinner at the Garden. I tried giving my name, nothing. Tried giving another name, Benjamin Franklin.
When your business is on the path to AI, Dell AI Factory with NVIDIA.
But what's even more amazing is that just 4 years after the first test, Honda rolled out a fully formed prototype rocket to the launch pad, and they let it rip. The rocket, which has no official name as of yet, lifted off from a test pad on the island of Hokkaido, Japan. The prototype we are looking at is just over 6 meters tall and a little less than 1 meter wide. Honda says that it weighs over 1,300 kilograms fully fueled. They don't specify what type of fuel is used, but judging by the white cloud of evaporated gas and how clean the exhaust plume appears, this has to be burning either hydrogen or methane, which puts Honda's engine design up there on the cutting edge alongside SpaceX and Blue Origin. It's also really interesting that this rocket supports itself on the launch pad using its own legs, and then as it begins to rise, the legs tuck themselves back in. I don't think we've ever seen a rocket do that. The Honda rocket then rises up to a maximum altitude of about 270 meters before a set of aerodynamic grid fins extend up at the nose. At this point, the engine throttles down and the rocket begins a controlled descent to a nearby landing pad. At touchdown, we see another cool trick. The landing legs extend as the grid fins begin to retract and fold themselves back down against the body. Then the rocket gently comes down for a soft landing. It doesn't hover at all, it just touches down in one smooth motion. We can see a little bit of spring in the landing legs, and then the engine cuts off and all of the excess fuel is immediately vented to make the rocket safe. The whole flight lasted just less than 1 minute, and it was seriously impressive. This mimics the Grasshopper test vehicle from the early days of SpaceX, which proved Falcon 9 landings were possible. Although the Honda rocket is far more technologically advanced than the Grasshopper, it's also been more than a decade since those old SpaceX tests. So what Honda just did with their prototype was the first vertical takeoff and landing outside of either the United States or China, and it was definitely more successful than some of the Chinese landing tests we've seen recently. Now, Honda is no SpaceX, but what they have is actually pretty damn close to matching the Blue Origin New Shepard, which has been in development since 2006. Honda says that its rocket is still in the fundamental research phase, and they are targeting the first suborbital test flight as soon as 2029. If that works, then the company imagines their rocket being able to deploy small satellites weighing up to 1 metric ton into low Earth orbit. The company suggested in a press release that a Honda-built rocket might launch Earth observation satellites to monitor global warming and extreme weather and satellite constellations for wide-area communications. Specifically, the company noted the importance of satellite communications to enable connected features in cars, airplanes, and other Honda products. This week, the European Space Agency signed an agreement to participate in a brand new space station, marking their first major step towards life after the ISS. That station is Orbital Reef, a concept developed by the Jeff Bezos-owned Blue Origin. It stands out among other commercial space station concepts for its sheer size and complexity. Much of that comes from Blue Origin's partnership with Sierra Space, who will supply large inflatable habitat modules for the station and provide crew transportation with their Dream Chaser spaceplane. And now, those two American companies have recruited the ESA to collaborate on the station as well. This makes a lot of sense. Orbital Reef wants to position itself in the industry as a multi-purpose space station, something capable of handling missions for private tourists and for large government agencies like NASA. Now, it's not immediately clear what ESA would contribute in return for use of the Orbital Reef, but we know that they have a lot to offer. While Blue Origin and Sierra appear to have most of the hardware figured out, they don't really know anything about managing astronauts or space station operations. This is something that Europeans have been doing for decades now. They have a depth of experience when it comes to human spaceflight.
I'm so lost.
AI that with Copilot.
ESA is also known as a world leader when it comes to scientific experiments in outer space. They've operated the Columbus Research Laboratory on the ISS since 2008. They've also deployed a wide range of deep space probes, including missions to Mars, Jupiter, Mercury, and near-Earth comets. The Europeans do have their own rocket as well, Ariane 6, which could be useful for deploying payloads and modules to the space station, depending on how well Blue Origin's own heavy-lift rocket, the New Glenn, actually works out. So having ESA sign on to participate in Orbital Reef does lend an element of legitimacy to what the station might be capable of, beyond just providing a fancy hotel in space for rich folks like Jeff Bezos. This genuinely could become the ISS version 2 if it works out the way that everyone is imagining right now. But there's another new addition to Orbital Reef that is probably totally unnecessary, yet looks really cool. This is a personal spacecraft, and it's being developed by a relatively small company called Genesis Space. This will be totally different from something like Dream Chaser because it won't be flying people from the Earth to space. It's essentially just a space pod, not too different from the famous vehicle in Kubrick's 2001 A Space Odyssey. It can seat one astronaut and will allow them to fly around the space station in order to get a truly unique perspective on the Earth that's previously been reserved for only the most highly skilled astronauts, which is also going to make it a lot easier for a private company like Blue Origin to inspect and maintain their own station, because not just any person can suit up and perform a spacewalk, and having constant access to people with that particular set of skills on board might not be practical. In theory, just about anyone should be able to pilot this little space pod, and by the time it gets up and running, you could probably have AI do 99.9% of the operation for you. Meanwhile, in space far beyond the Earth, NASA has resumed operations with the Psyche probe, which has been traveling to a mineral-rich asteroid since late 2023. Over 2 months ago, the probe's 4 electric thrusters were shut down after mission engineers discovered a loss of pressure in the propellant lines. The thrusters aboard the spacecraft are rather unconventional for most deep space probes. They are known as Hall effect thrusters and work by shooting ionized xenon molecules out the back of the spacecraft. According to Newton's third law, every action will result in an equal and opposite reaction, which in this case means the xenon pushes Psyche forward. Earlier this year, the pressure in the propellant lines dropped and was no longer feeding xenon from the tanks to the thrusters, which put the entire mission in jeopardy. According to a press release from NASA, the most likely cause of this failure was a faulty valve which was meant to regulate the flow of xenon to the Hall effect thrusters. It appears there is no direct way to repair the valve from the ground, but engineers were able to build in a backup specifically for failures like this. In late May, they began testing the use of identical backup propellant lines. However, only this week did they bring them fully online and restart the thrusters. NASA also revealed an updated timeline for the mission, but reassured that it's still on track for arrival at its namesake asteroid 16 Psyche. The probe's thrusters are now meant to run through November of this year in order for a planned flyby of Mars early next year, which will assist the vehicle in reaching its asteroid by slingshotting it further into our solar system. After the problems were fixed and Psyche resumed flight, project manager Bob Mace commended the team on finding a solution, stating their thorough diagnosis and recovery using the backup system demonstrates the value of robust spacecraft design and exceptional teamwork. Now the probe can resume its long flight and eventually
In this episode, we dive into Florida, where a lightning strike led to the discovery of a new phosphorus material. After lightning struck a tree in a Newport Richey area, a University of South Florida scientist discovered the strike led to the formation of a new phosphorus material. It was identified in a rock, the first time in solid form on Earth, and could represent a member of a new mineral group. We have never seen this material occur naturally on Earth. Minerals similar to it can be found in meteorites and space. But we've never seen this exact material anywhere, said geoscientist Matthew Pasek. Pasek recently looked at how high-energy incidents, like lightning, can trigger unusual chemical reactions, and in this case, result in a novel substance that is transitional between space minerals and the Earth's crust, as per the University of South Florida. When lightning strikes a tree, the ground typically explodes out and the surrounding grass dies, forming a scar and sending electric discharge through nearby rock, soil, and sand, forming fulgurites, also known as fossilized lightning, Pasek said. When the Newport Richey homeowners discovered the lightning scar, they found a fulgurite and decided to sell it, determining it had value. Pasek purchased it and then began an association with Luca Bindi, a professor of mineralogy and crystallography at the University of Florence in Italy. In order to better comprehend high-energy phenomena, the team decided to look into unusual phosphorus-bearing minerals, particularly those created by lightning. It's important to understand how much energy lightning has, because then we know how much damage a lightning strike can cause on average and how dangerous it is, Pasek said. Florida is the lightning capital of the world, and lightning safety is important. If lightning is strong enough to melt rock, it can certainly melt people too. Pasek claims that iron will often collect and encrust tree roots in moist regions, such as Florida. In this instance, the lightning strike ignited both the naturally occurring carbon in the tree and the iron on the tree roots, causing both to catch fire. The interaction of the two substances resulted in the formation of fulgurite, which had the resemblance of a metal glob. The material was attempted to be recreated in a lab by co-principal investigator Tian Feng, a USF geology graduate. As a result of the experiment's failure, it can be concluded that the substance forms swiftly under specific circumstances, and that, if heated for an extended period of time, it will transform into the mineral found in meteorites. Given the rarity of it present naturally, Pasek claims that it is uncertain that this material could be mined for uses similar to those of other phosphates, such as fertilizer. Pasek and Bindi, however, intend to carry out.
Well, you need to know about this. I've been doing lightning research for a while because I'm going to do lightning artwork, and this very much interests me because I believe I can recreate the scenario that happened to make them get that new mineral. So I might be able to create a new mineral with what I plan on doing with my lightning artwork. It's a possibility I'm definitely going to have to research. You guys can't hear me? On my end, everything. Huh. Can you hear me now? I wonder what's going on here. Oh, okay. Yeah. Like I said, I've been studying and wanting to work with lightning for about 3 years now, doing nothing but studying on it. As most of you know, I want to do the lightning crystal artwork and sculptures. And this just added a new facet of the science that I think can be learned from my lightning experiments that I'm going to do. And apparently there seems to be that there could be quite a bit of money in it too, if I can recreate the exact thing that occurred to where they got that new mineral created from lightning. And I don't see why it couldn't be recreated. The problem is the same problem as people have now with lightning strikes, is it's hard to identify where they're at, to where, yeah, exactly, true science, indeed. And that's what I've always talked to Travis. I've asked Travis, and he told me when I get my third lightning strike, he'd come down and do a live stream on it. And he said he would help set me up with like email accounts and everything like that, and get the information out to scientists and schools, universities and colleges to come down and do real science. And that's what I want. And I also, of course, want like 5% of anything discovered. But that's what I want to do. Now you see, Pete, the genius of Neil. The rest of the world's just now starting to catch up with what I've known for years. There's a lot to lightning. All I need to do is learn how to capture it, other than in the form that they're doing now, which no one is. So I had nothing to go on. I've got a principal design, and I'm going to give up my career. I'm going to move down to southeast Alabama, and we're just right beside Northwest Florida. Man, I'm going to give it a shot because I know I can do it. I don't know if I can recreate that scene that we just saw from that one video where they found the new mineral created by stone and lightning. I don't know if I can recreate that. I'll damn sure try, but I can definitely do lightning artwork. And it's just invigorating that I can actually be a part. Someone who dropped out of high school can be part of a real scientific studies on lightning. That's one of my most impressive things I've done. This is going to be awesome. I'm more excited now than ever. So much so I'm going to take a hit of my weed, because that's what I do. Weed makes you smart. At least it did me. Well, I don't know if it made me smart. I was always smart. It allows me to deal with other people who think I'm an idiot. Oh my God. School is so much of a waste of time for most people. School as we've known it in our lifetimes, shall we say. I noticed it my fucking freshman year of high school. I would have quit high school in my freshman year if all my friends weren't seniors, and I got to hang out in the senior section in the West parking lot. And I was, I lettered like the seniors in my freshman year, so that was cool. But then my sophomore year, my 10th grade year, none of my friends were there. And I saw the crap that was going on in schools, the racial shit and all this other drug stuff. And, I stayed because I was going to be captain the swim team, and I took the swim team to state championships that year. But right after that, I fucking quit. I was like, dude, man, this shit's crazy. Yeah, pretty much all that college is a party for most people. I think the greatest thing my parents ever did was I went to a private school for 7th and 8th grade, and it just so happens it was like an Ivy League kind of private school, and all the rich families' kids went to that school. So I actually, like Steve Bauer, the Bauer Company, I actually know him. I went to school with him, or his family, one of his family members. But I did meet him because I went to school with one of his family members. And who else? The Wootons. They're into furnishing, they were a big furnishing company. I met their son, who's probably running the company now. So there is things that you can get out of school, But most of the time, it's not learning; it's more connections, and that's more a viable scenario if you pay a lot of money to go to that school, because that's when people think you're actually learning something, and that's where the rich people's kids send their kids, or rich people send their kids. So your benefit wouldn't be actually schooling; it'd be getting to know and mingle and become friends with the future rich people and take advantage of knowing them. Yeah, that's interesting. Jose, the one thing about that, probably most of us have these experiences where we should have left this planet from some of the stupid shit we did, but we have what my Nana would call guardian angels. And they are here to protect us until we complete our mission that the Lord sends down here for. And my Nana always used to tell me that my guardian angels, for which she said I had at least a fucking company full, would be kicking my ass when I get to heaven for them as many times as they've saved my life down here. And quite frankly, ever since she told me that, I kind of sort of went along with it. I got more risk taking and took more chances. I said, fuck it, I'm only down here once. So I've got a lot of great stories, had a lot of life-threatening things happen, a lot of fun stuff. And that's what life's about, man. But yeah, when I get to heaven, I'll probably have a couple guardian angels wanting to kick my ass for them having to step in and save me as many times as they have. As will most of you. Okay, here, let me see. This is another video I want to show because I'm real tired of people talking crap like they know something. All these fancy doodle YouTubers that think we're going to have CDBC. I am going to introduce you. Oh, yeah, they also think China is going to be the next leader of the world. So all these big YouTubers that believe China is going to be the biggest thing in the world and the most monetary rich and blah, 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 blah. Let's see what the hell is actually going on.
Is spiraling out of control. Citizens are rejecting it, merchants are ditching it, and the government is panicking. The very currency that was supposed to give Beijing total financial control is being pushed back by the people. And now a wave of economic distrust is spreading fast. What was once pitched as the future of money is now triggering fear, confusion, and chaos. Why are Chinese citizens suddenly abandoning the digital yuan? Even under government pressure, what unexpected resistance is rising in cities like Shenzhen, Chengdu, and Hangzhou? And how is this digital currency backlash shaking China's financial future?
It's a CDBC. It's the digital yuan. They've had it out for a little while. And this is the ramifications they're facing by, in a communist country, of trying to force a CDBC onto their people before it gets introduced here to a free country. Let's see what the communist people are putting up with and how they're dealing with a CDBC in their country.
To understand why the digital yuan is unraveling so fast, we have to go back to how this all began and what Beijing hoped to achieve. The rise of the digital yuan. They called it the future of money. Back in 2020, China quietly launched pilot programs for its new central bank digital currency, the ECNY or digital yuan. At first, it felt...
How's it going?
Oh, no.
Sometimes,
Next.
It's a 5-second.
Try it again.
like just another tech experiment, a new app, a new payment
What's up,
method,
79?
another QR code in a country already dominated by mobile payments. But this wasn't just another payment method. By 2022, the digital yuan was rolling out fast, officially expanding across dozens of cities, including Beijing, Shanghai, and Shenzhen. Government workers were told they could receive part of their salaries in ECNY. Public sector students, same thing. Hospitals, train stations, tan-all booths all began testing digital yuan infrastructure. The government framed it as a breakthrough. They promised a modernized financial system. They said it would reduce fraud, limit tax evasion, and help poor communities with financial inclusion. But behind the slick presentations and state media headlines was something else entirely. The ECNY wasn't just digital money, it was programmable money, designed to be traced, tracked, and even expired by the state. That means if the government wanted to, they could limit how long your money is valid, where you spend it, and even what you spend it on. Buy a train ticket? Fine. Try to buy cigarettes? Blocked. Donate to a protest group? Good luck. Transactions were no longer just private exchanges between buyer and seller. They became real-time data feeds to Beijing. The central bank could see every purchase, every moment, every transaction, instantly, and they weren't hiding it. In fact, officials bragged that ECNY would allow precise financial governance and social stability. At first, people went along with
Yes,
it,
Pete.
not because they loved the idea, but because they didn't have much of a choice. You see, the earliest adopters weren't tech-savvy volunteers. They were government workers, students on stipends, and employees at state-owned firms. In some provinces, even public school teachers were required to download the ECNY app or risk delayed wages. Banks started converting parts of users' accounts to digital yuan by default. Some citizens reported being forced to use the currency at public hospitals or train stations, even when other options were available. By 2023, the pressure was mounting. Posters appeared in subways. Join the future, use ECNY. Some cities even launched digital yuan lotteries, giving away free credits to incentivize use. But even with all the propaganda, subsidies, and government nudging, the mood was shifting. Throughout 2024, something subtle began happening. People stopped using it. Quietly, almost imperceptibly at first, merchants began turning off their QR code scanners. Customers started requesting Alipay again, WeChat Pay again. Even cash, the old money the CCP had worked so hard to phase out, began returning to circulation. At first, the government chalked it up to technical hiccups. Then they blamed misinformation from foreign outlets. But it wasn't just foreign media. It was Chinese citizens themselves, posting on domestic social platforms, whispering in shops, even protesting at local banks. And now, in June 2025, the pushback has exploded into defiance. People aren't just avoiding the digital yuan. They're actively rejecting it. In rural Henan province, market vendors are refusing to scan ECNY apps. In inner-city Guangzhou, delivery drivers are asking to be paid in cash or in Alipay. In Chengdu, a viral video shows a street food seller literally tearing down the ECNY payment board, shouting, "This money tracks us." The most shocking part? These aren't activists. These aren't political radicals. They're everyday citizens. Housewives, merchants, students, taxi drivers, and it's not just them. In recent surveys conducted quietly by third-party researchers, nearly 70% of small business owners in certain provinces,
JM, that's why you're subscribed to me, brother. I bring you the real shit, not the fake news.
including Sichuan, Shandong, and Fujian, say they no longer accept the digital yuan. Some even reported that sales dropped when they tried to go ECNY only. The reasons vary: too slow, too invasive, too complicated, too many glitches, too much government.
So
But
do
the
I.
conclusion is the same: they don't trust it. One business owner in Suzhou told an online blog, anonymously of course, "They say it's safe, but if I buy the wrong thing, will I get flagged? Will I be blocked next month? I'd rather just use Alipay like before." And now, the evidence is everywhere. QR code readers are disappearing from shop counters. Cash-only signs are back, not just in back-alley black markets, but in franchises, malls, and pharmacies. People are even trading gift cards and store credit to avoid being tracked by the digital currency system. The entire trust structure, the invisible agreement between citizens and the state, is breaking down. But the real cracks didn't start with merchants. They started when citizens saw what the digital yuan could really do. The surveillance backlash. The digital yuan was never just about convenience. From the beginning, ECNY was built differently. Unlike Alipay or WeChat Pay, or even your regular bank card, the digital yuan wasn't just trackable, it was programmable. That means the money in your ECNY wallet could be coded to do or not do like specific things. It could expire after a set date, refuse to be spent on certain items, or lock you out entirely if you're
Everything people have said about CDBC I've heard online has been going on in China actively, and they're rejecting it. So trust me, there will be no CDBC.
social or political behavior didn't match state standards. At first, people assumed these were just theoretical powers, technical capabilities that would rarely be used in real life. But that illusion shattered quickly. The first signs came in small waves, quiet but telling. In early 2024, several travelers reported that their attempts to convert ECNY into foreign currency were rejected with no explanation. A few weeks later, others noticed their purchases of alcohol or imported goods had mysteriously declined. High-end perfume, branded electronics, even movie tickets in some cases were tagged as non-essential. And the rules weren't consistent. One user could buy a product with no problem. Another would be denied without warning, appeal, or explanation. That's when people realized this wasn't just a currency, it was a behavioral leash. In May 2025, one viral post ripped the mask off completely. A woman in Jiangsu province tried to book a hotel in Shanghai using ECNY, but instead of confirming the payment, her phone flashed a rejection notice.
是因为我们两个是来自于
When lives depend on physical strength and mental sharpness, blood flow matters. That's why firefighters will.
Firefighters use it.
Transaction denied,
use it too.
destination outside approved travel zone. Screenshots of the message spread like wildfire. Within hours, the post had thousands of shares before being pulled by censors. But it was too late. The damage was done. People flooded comment sections with their own stories. Across the country, something snapped. The protests that had once been about property disputes, food prices, or flood relief suddenly pivoted to something bigger. In Hangzhou, crowds marched holding handwritten signs, "Give us back our cash." In Chengdu, a woman shouted through a loudspeaker, "They want to control where we go, what we eat, and who we meet. This is not a wallet, it's a cage." And that term caught fire. Digital cage exploded across Chinese social media platforms, from Weibo to Xiaohongshu. Memes popped up showing a person surrounded by glowing QR codes. Artists sketched handcuffs made of binary code. Videos of QR readers failing mid-transaction went viral with the captions like, "Your money, their rules." The government scrambled to censor the phrase, but it was already out. Even taxi drivers were using the phrase in hushed tones between rides. In a country known for compliance, something unprecedented was happening. People were opting out, not just resisting, but building workarounds. Reports from Shenzhen and Wuhan showed a growing number of underground crypto circles, mostly small traders, freelancers, and students. VPN usage was spiking, gift cards were being bartered like currency, and most surprisingly, cash was becoming cool again. In some cities, the government tried to double down. Inspections increased. Police scanned phones in subway stations to check for ECNY compliance. Certain bank accounts were flagged for unusual payment activity. But the more they cracked down, the more determined people became. The trust that once propped up the system, the idea that the state would act fairly, or at least predictably, was disintegrating. And without trust, digital currencies don't just fail, they become instruments of fear. But it wasn't just personal freedom under attack. Even China's economy is suffering as the digital yuan unravels. Economic fallout and business rejection. The Chinese government called it modernization, but to small business owners across the country, it felt like a bureaucratic bear trap. You see, small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, live and die by three things: transaction speed, flexibility, and privacy. They can't afford long settlement times. They can't wait for permission to process a refund. And they definitely can't deal with being flagged for suspicious activity just because they're successful that day. But ECNY? It requires full integration with the state banking system. That means every transaction is recorded, not just who paid, but when, why, how much, and what for. And that data sent directly to local financial authorities every single day. The result? Nightmare fuel for anyone trying to run a business. Take Wang Jiali, a small clothing wholesaler in Wenzhou. Her business booms at the start of each month. Bulk orders from street vendors, restocks from fashion stalls in second-tier cities. In early 2025, her ECNY account was automatically flagged and frozen after receiving more than 80 payments in a single day. That triggered a week-long audit. She couldn't pay her factory supplier. Her delivery sat idle in the warehouse. Her reputation nearly ruined. Her only crime? Doing well, and it gets worse. Many government subsidies, once deposited in bank accounts or issued as preloaded debit cards, are now being delivered exclusively via ECNY. At first, that sounded like a good thing: fast, efficient, easy to verify. But here's the catch. Many retailers won't accept ECNY anymore, not because they're rebellious, but because it simply isn't worth the hassle. The back-end compliance, the auditing risk, the poor customer service, it's driving legitimate businesses to quietly step away. So now, those digital subsidies are practically worthless. People can't spend them. In underground currency exchanges across provinces like Henan, Sichuan, and even urban pockets of Shanghai, the old yuan, paper cash, is now trading at a 5% to 8% premium over its face value. People are selling their ECNY bonuses or state payments for real money on the street at a loss just to buy food, pay rent, or stock their shelves.
Wow.
The irony? China's grand plan to digitize money has created a thriving market for physical bills, a parallel economy fueled by mistrust. Meanwhile, regional banks, especially in second and third tier cities, are sounding the alarm. Transaction volumes.
It's time for the Coke debate. Who's the greatest cash backer of all time?
Who's
I
the
earn
greatest
1.5% on finger paint just so you can touch the paint.
I got 3%
Man,
on
I'm gonna
barbecue too.
mute his ass because he does a 15-second long damn commercial and I can't delete him. So I have to mute him. Well, this is 5 seconds, but I'll mute it too. Why not?
Plummeting. Loan repayments are falling behind. Defaults are rising. One banking analyst in Shijiazhuang, speaking anonymously, said, "We're seeing record low merchant activity on ECNY linked accounts. Business owners are withdrawing, ghosting, or just using other platforms." Technically true, but on the ground, no one believes that anymore. Because voluntary doesn't look like being forced to accept your salary in ECNY. It doesn't look like being penalized for switching to Alipay. It doesn't look like stores are refusing your digital wallets because of the paperwork that comes with it. And here lies the deeper problem, the one haunting policymakers in Beijing. This isn't just about currency. It's about control slipping through their fingers. For decades, China's strength came from a mix of top-down power and bottom-up compliance. The government could guide, and the people, even if frustrated, would follow. But now that social contract is fraying, you're no longer talking about economics. You're talking about a legitimacy crisis. And that crisis, it's now pushing Beijing toward dangerous, unpredictable moves. Beijing's crackdown
A legitimacy crisis. It's gone beyond repair.
backfires. By April 2025, patience was thinning, not just among citizens, but in Beijing.
Hey,
The
what's
central
up, Flipper?
government, faced with the population pushing back on ECNY adoption, decided it was time to tighten the screws. Across key cities, including Shenzhen, Xi'an, Nanjing, and parts of Beijing itself, new mandates were quietly rolled out, mandatory ECNY zones. In these zones, all legal transactions had to be conducted through the state-run digital yuan. No paper bills, no WeChat Pay, no Alipay, no exceptions. These weren't just pilot zones, they were digital firewalls. To ensure compliance, local enforcement teams began sweeping through neighborhoods unannounced, what residents called surprise inspections. Restaurants were checked for illegal QR codes. Street vendors were told to remove cash signs. Hair salons and bookstores were audited for unreported cash activity. The results were broadcast, unintentionally, across the country. Another clip from Shenzhen caused national outrage. A pensioner hunched over the pharmacy counter, pleads with the pharmacist to accept her handful of coins. She needs medication. She has no digital wallet. The pharmacist, clearly distressed, apologizes. "Only ECNY allowed. I'm sorry, it's the law." The shock wasn't just emotional, it was practical. By early May, in some districts of Xi'an and Tianjin, even school fees, transit cards, and utility bills had to be paid in digital yuan. Mothers were forced to convert cash stipends to ECNY just to buy bus passes. Landlords began demanding tenants convert and pay, sometimes charging extra just to handle the digital transaction themselves. The system was supposed to be convenient. Instead, it was becoming a maze of digital red tape. But the real backlash was still brewing, and it came from an unexpected front within the system itself. Rumors began to spread on Chinese social media, briefly before being censored, that even some local Communist Party officials were quietly using proxies or shell accounts to convert their own ECNY into physical cash. Not because they opposed the policy publicly, but because they knew it was unworkable. It was a sign. The push had gone too far. The harder the government pushed, the more the people resisted. What began as a modernization initiative was now a digital tug of war, with livelihoods, dignity, and trust hanging in the balance. But the real tipping point wasn't a protest, a policy, or even a viral video. It was something deeper. It was fear, the kind that spreads quietly, neighbor to neighbor, phone to phone, until it reaches critical mass. The panic wave, a system breaking down. By May 2025, the uneasy tension lurking beneath China's digital economy bursts into full-blown panic. A rumor spreads like wildfire. The government plans to phase out physical cash entirely by August. No official announcement, just whispers on Weibo, encrypted messages on WeChat, and explosive threads on international crypto forums. Within hours, social media is aflame. People share screenshots of frantic group chats. Is it true? Should I withdraw everything? How much can I take out before they close the ATMs? What if I get frozen out? The response is immediate and overwhelming. Across cities from Guangzhou to Harbin, ATM lines snake around blocks. Bank branches are swamped as people scramble to get physical yuan notes, paper money that until now seemed destined for extinction. But the crisis deepens fast. Banks impose withdrawal limits, sometimes as low as 500 yen per day. Officials claim it's to prevent money laundering, but the public reads it as a desperate attempt to stem the flood. As cash disappears from circulation in a matter of days, something remarkable happens. New, unofficial economies begin to emerge. In rural villages near Chengdu,
unlock the tech and the value with the 2025 Equinox EV.
Now, well-qualified buyers can get 0% financing.
residents
No, I didn't. Smoke break. It's a 23-second commercial. Go ahead and inhale if you want. Everyone's got commercials, people. Sorry, I'm taking my commercial time. All right, let's get back to the program.
form cash barter groups. One farmer explains, if you have eggs and I have rice, we swap. No phones, no apps.
This is how we got around it.
In urban neighborhoods of Shanghai, cash-only markets reopen, often operating under the radar of authorities. Clothes, food, and electronics are exchanged in tightly knit circles, an analog economy growing faster than the government can control. Despite the chaos, Beijing publicly denies the rumors. State media dismiss the cash phase-out stories as fake news and assure citizens the digital yuan is a voluntary, secure, and innovative payment solution. But the damage is done. No one believes it anymore. Trust in the entire monetary system begins to crumble, not because of inflation or economic downturn, but from an all-consuming fear of surveillance, fear of control, fear of losing freedom in a currency that knows every transaction, every purchase, every cent. The digital yuan, designed to centralize power and tighten state control over money, is now decentralizing the economy in the most chaotic way imaginable. Cash is king once again, but scarce and fiercely protected. Li Yan, a former software engineer in Shenzhen, puts it bluntly.
Cash is king again over there, but it's scarce. So if they try and get you, that's why the smart people are saying, stack some cash. Because if we follow the same scenario as those folks over there, if everyone is right and there's a CBDC coming, you're going to want to stack cash because the CBDC is going to fail just like it did in China. But I can guarantee you we're not going to follow China. They are the experiment that failed. We are not going to follow them. What was going to happen, Congress already passed a bill allowing financial institutions to create stable coins backed one-to-one with the US dollar. And they're going to offer those stable coins as money for loans, and they're going to offer bank account type savings accounts. And that's going to mean there's going to be competition for U.S. citizens, which means we'll have savings accounts rates at 6 or 7% and bank loans at about 1 to 2%. And it's not a bank loan. It's going to be a financial stablecoin institutional loan. And it's already been accepted by the government and regulated. That's the digital system that's coming. It's a repeat of the 1836 to 1862 economy where the Congress allowed banks to create dollars, American dollars, and compete for the U.S. citizens. And so it's a repeat of the history that's already happened. We know what's going to happen as far as that goes. And then after that 25-year digital dollar system that we're entering right now, we're going to go back into a gold-backed dollar because as Judy Shelton, who's probably going to be next Federal Reserve chair, she said on a program with David Morgan that it would take 20 to 25 years to unwrap all the laws and bullshit to be able to make gold, a dollar backed by gold, or a buy metal system, or gold and silver, like it was, because of all the rules, regulations, and the time it takes for people to adapt to change, and blah 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 blah.
I deleted all my banking apps. I only use paper bills now. I don't care if I look old-fashioned. At least I feel free. Her words echo a growing sentiment across China, a collective retreat into analog simplicity in the face of overwhelming digital control. And now, the consequences are spreading beyond China's borders, with ripple effects hitting global markets and international relations
This is where it
in
really is
unexpected ways.
good for everyone who does.
International fallout and global rejection. As June 2025 unfolds, the ripples of China's digital yuan crisis spread far beyond its borders. Countries that once eyed the ECNY as the future of money now hesitate. India, after quietly monitoring China's rollout for years, abruptly pauses its own central bank digital currency pilot, citing domestic concerns and public sentiment. Brazil's central bank makes headlines, announcing it will take a different approach to digital currency.
Hold on a second. India and Brazil are two BRICS nations. China's a BRICS nation. So one BRICS nation, who's a communist nation that pretty much controls their people, just failed. And the other two big BRICS nations who were planning to follow said, nah, we're not going to. How many indicators do you need?
Signaling a retreat from China's tightly controlled model. The global narrative is shifting fast.
What's up, Jay?
What looked like a pioneering financial revolution now feels like a cautionary tale. Foreign businesses in China are caught in the crossfire. Many report that consumer trust is evaporating. Shoppers hesitate, uncertain whether their payments will go through.
Oh, and if you're listening to any YouTubers, guys, I don't give a frail who they are. If they tell you that China's prospering and their economy's good and they're doing real good business, you now know they are lying through their teeth to you, or they're just dumbasses who are saying shit to get views.
Or if their money will be frozen. Tourists face a growing headache. ECNY-only zones, especially in major cities like Shanghai and Beijing, block anyone without a Chinese bank account from paying. Credit
Sherwin-Williams scheduled home delivery.
I'm sure that would ruin your economy.
Do you buy cars at Copart and Insurance Auto Auctions and have many clients bidding from your account?
Yes, I do.
Cards and cash are no longer.
That would fuck with your economy if you no longer have tourism. You no longer have outside money. This is just economic. It doesn't matter what country. If you no longer have outside money flowing into your economy, you have to rely on your people alone to stimulate your economy. You have zero growth, zero GDP.
Welcome. Imagine a traveler from Europe or the US standing outside a cafe, unable to buy a simple cup of coffee because their foreign card isn't linked to the digital yuan system. Frustration mounts, and word spreads on travel forums warning visitors to prepare cash or risk being stranded. Foreign investors are also rethinking their bets. International firms operating in China grow wary of government overreach in payment systems. Many worry their financial flows might be scrutinized or restricted under the guise of anti-fraud or security. Some have already started slowing investment plans, delaying expansions, or even withdrawing from sectors where payment uncertainty threatens profit margins. A major American retailer, which recently pulled back on expansion in Beijing, cites payment system inconsistencies and unpredictable controls as a critical factor. China's ambition to lead the world in state-backed digital currency is faltering. Rather than exporting influence and innovation, Beijing is exporting fear and uncertainty. Instead of a model for the future, the digital yuan experiment is turning into a digital ghost town, a warning for other countries contemplating similar paths. The dream of a cashless, fully traceable and programmable currency has collided with a reality where citizens reject control and businesses reject instability. Yet, while international eyes turn away, the biggest threat remains inside China itself. It's not an outright rebellion or violent uprising. It's something more subtle, more dangerous, a slow collapse of belief in the system that holds the economy together. Without trust, money loses its power. Without confidence, the digital yuan risks becoming nothing more than a symbol of government overreach. And this erosion of faith threatens to unravel Beijing's entire financial strategy. And inside China, the biggest threat isn't rebellion. It's a silent, slow collapse of belief in the system.
It took me a while to find that weed video I shared with y'all for 23 seconds, so I appreciate that, Khaled. No, I know you're talking about this video. That was funny.
Itself. A system built on control now breaking apart. Across China, a quiet but growing murmur circulates, whispers of a mysterious national reset. No official explanation, no clear details. Just rumors spreading in hushed tones. At the same time, online censorship is tightening to unprecedented levels. The phrase cash freedom, once common in protests and viral posts, is suddenly erased from social media platforms like Weibo and Douyin. The government monitors and aggressively scrubs content. Posts about ECNY dissent vanish as quickly as they appear. Yet ironically, this silence speaks louder than any shouted protest. People aren't merely resisting the digital yuan, they're choosing to disappear from the system altogether. In cities and towns, from bustling street markets to quiet residential complexes, the digital footprint of ECNY is shrinking. Vendors refuse to display QR codes. Shopkeepers post cash-only signs, knowing full well it will cost them some customers, but valuing privacy over
Milton
profit.
Road is
In
dead.
back alleys and underground bars, cash changes hands quickly, away from watchful eyes and government databases. At offices, employees whisper about using alternative payment methods, keeping a small stash of bills tucked away just in case. The surveillance-heavy, programmable currency designed to give Beijing total control is slipping through their fingers. What was meant to be a tool of centralized power has become a symbol of loss of freedom. The very citizens who were supposed to embrace modernization are retreating into analog anonymity, creating parallel economies under the government's radar. Even state-run media, usually the mouthpiece of confidence and order, is struggling to spin the narrative. Reports highlight technical glitches and user concerns, but these feel hollow, a thin veil over a much deeper crisis. The digital yuan promised a future of power and precision, but the real future unfolding is one of fragmentation and fear. The digital yuan was meant to...
I did a video on that about Pakistan because it's the number one on the One Belt Road initiative. It was the first one to sign up with it. And if you look at their economy and see where their spending goes, even though they get free weapons from China, they still buy weapons from the United States of America. And when asked by the United States of America, hey, you get free weapons from China, why are you buying them from us? Their answer is because we want weapons that work.
Usher in a new era, seamless, efficient, and tightly controlled by the state. It promised convenience and security, a futuristic currency to replace cash and reshape how millions transact every day. But instead of unity and progress, it has sparked fear, resistance, and fragmentation. Citizens are rejecting it in droves, businesses are abandoning it, and what was meant to be a tool of control has turned into a symbol of widespread distrust. Now, every failed transaction, every frozen account, and every whispered cash-only sign chips away at the regime's grip. The digital yuan, far from solidifying power, exposes the deep fractures beneath the surface, a government struggling to impose order on a population that refuses to surrender its freedom.
There you go. And as far as that goes, Jeffro, if you look at what happened in North Korea, their destroyer broke in half when they launched it. They used steel from China. And people want to know, or no, they don't want to know. They think I'm stupid for not being concerned about China's Navy. If you only knew, you would. I bet you one of the American states that has a naval port on it has enough naval military in it to take on the whole Chinese military and not take any losses and actually win that naval battle. They are so screwed up, not only with their actual physical materials, war machine. Most of those are screwed up, but also their infrastructure, their command and control, and the way it's set up. It is so antiquated and screwed up in the way it's deployed. They probably couldn't even get information to the right people in a timely manner to do them any good. So on a strategic and infrastructure of like command and control scenario, China's like, I think the Boy Scouts are more organized actually. Hey, what's up, Pete? I'll tell you what, Australia needs to get up off their ass and start making some more of them things too. More of them submarines. But as long as Australia's in good with India, they could borrow one of theirs. I did a report. India's building, this was last year sometime, they started building 24 submarines. 3 of them were nuclear to push China out of the Indian Ocean back into the China Sea to where they wouldn't have navigational command of that area. But yet they're both part of BRICS, and here they are. India's having to build 24 submarines to combat the aggression of its BRICS partner. You know how many billions of dollars India has to spend to combat China, and they're in the same economic sector? How well is that going to work in reality? Oh my God. Who's this Jeffy Christian? He's an idiot. Whoever Jeffrey Christian is, if he thinks we have, let me make sure I get this straight, insists there is a platinum surplus, meaning we have more than we need. If that's what that means, he's an idiot. As a matter of fact, I can prove it to you right now. Let me go to my emails. I got an email from the World Platinum Council that says the exact opposite of that. Let's see, where would it be in? Probably cool stuff. Scroll on down to World. Let's see, is this World Platinum Council? Let's see what they have to say. Edward Clark, commodities, supply and demand data from explains what's driving these developments. Okay, hold on a second. Commodities markets is. Oh, here it is. I'll even share screen with you so I can prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that Jeff Christian guy is an idiot for saying there's a surplus. This is from the World Platinum Council. Real good friends of mine. Actually, I don't know them. I want their job, though. Let me get back over here and full screen this. And then I'll go back over here to show you. See this? See, Structural Debt, World Platinum Investment Council to Neil Hahn. Edward Streck, the World Platinum Council Director of Research, discusses why the platinum market is in deficit now and how it contributes to the platinum's compelling investment case. Okay, do I need to say any more? Did you guys get that? Yeah, you can tell him here. Take a screenshot of that. Tell him he's a freaking idiot. Even the World Platinum Council tells him he's an idiot. Sorry about that, people. I don't like it when people lie about my metal. No, we have a 3-month above ground supply on the platinum earth as we speak. That is why Clean Air Metals, within 30 to 45 days, a company in Canada, in Thunder Bay, Canada, discovered a platinum vein real close to the surface. And they're going to be pulling the ore out of the ground next 30 to 45 days. And that's going to add to the deficit or 3-month above ground supply that we have. And they said they're not going to do it until platinum price starts increasing. Hey, look at the platinum price. It's about 30% higher than it was 2 weeks ago. Everything's falling apart over there in South Africa with whatever anyone's thought about platinum over there. They are doing digital shit that I'm not keeping up with, and they'll make a lot of money on their digital platinum. But as far as physical platinum, they're about out of it. And Clean Air Metals is just starting, and they're going to take the cake, baby. Everyone's going to order their platinum before it comes out of the ground. And they have to go starting out 400 meters at the start of the vein to where South Africa has averaged 2,200 meters, which is 6 times further deeper into the ground, which makes it 6 times more expensive. So Clean Air Metals is going to rake up the profit. So if you look at Clean Air Metals stock, you can see where I'm excited about it going over. It's only 4.5 cents to 4 cents a share. It's going to shoot up to $4 to $5 a share. This is not financial advice. I have to throw out the disclaimers so I don't get a YouTube strike. Yeah, it might go down there if we have like a stock market crash, but good luck buying any. Like I said, there's a 3-month above ground supply. Do you know, have you ever heard of a silver squeeze and this fictitious thing people used to call, oh, first it's going to be too expensive, then it's going to be unobtainium? Platinum is about 2 weeks away from being unobtainium. No one's looking at it, but the biggest squeeze in the world is going on right now. Silver will follow. You can like Travis, the Economic Ninja says, there's cycles. Platinum squeeze is now. It's going on now. Join the ride. Enjoy the ride. Whatever. Get you some. Silver's going to come. Platinum's going on right now. And it's going to be bigger than gold. Because I'm starting to hear the big YouTubers start saying they could see platinum to $4,000 to $5,000 by the end of 2026. And I'm like, no shit, really? You've been watching my show? No, I'll just give you guys information that no one wants you to have just quite yet. And they'll come up and tell you about it 6 or 7 months after I tell you about it. That's about the average for the world platinum coin. So I was telling people, oh shit, 6 months before I got that email. Last year, end of last year, as a matter of fact, I was telling people that Impala mines and Angola mines were running about 25% short of production. And they were doing voluntary layoffs and all this shit. And then that platinum production was going to drop and supply was going to go up. And then at the end of the first quarter of 2025, Platinum Council comes out, says, oh, by the way, supply is down. And supply is down and demand is up. I was like, really? It only took you 5 months to say that after I said it? Platinum is going to go up to close to twice the price of gold. What's gold at right now? 33. So platinum could go up to 66. We're going to see what the end of price suppression and manipulation looks like. And it's happening in platinum. Who was controlling the price? China. We just watched the video on China. Do you think they're in control of anything anymore? Much less price manipulation. They're losing control of anything. Everything. They're going to lose control of the price of platinum. And how that's going to happen is a new platinum company that's not hooked up on the One Belt Road Initiative is going to come along and start mining platinum and demand a higher price when there's a low supply on the planet. Hey, look what's happening. There's a low supply on the planet, and there's this new company who's mining platinum called Clean Air Metals. Wow, they just broke fucking Chinese control of platinum's back. They just crushed China's control of the manipulation of the price. And if you look at the manipulation of the price of platinum back in 2011 was damn near 3 times the price of gold. Gold was like 900, and platinum was like at 2280. It was like 250%. That's just back in 2011. It was like 250% higher than gold. And then South Africa signs up with the One Belt Road Initiative, and platinum goes down. And then it stabilizes around $1,000 for about a decade. Now, if you look at the One Belt Road Initiative, first off, you got to look at China and you got to look at BRICS, because back then, South Africa was not part of BRICS. It was just BRIC. China specifically said they were courting South Africa to join BRIC because of their unique minerals of diamonds, platinum, and gold. They got South Africa to sign on the BRICS and the One Belt Road Initiative, and that is 10 years after that. There was a study done that showed that South Africa lost $5 billion on their gold industry. How the hell do you lose money on digging gold out of the ground? Sign a deal with China and let them control your 3 minerals of diamonds, gold, and platinum. Because South Africa, ever since they signed on with the One Belt Road Initiative, has lost money on all 3 of those. And now there's a new company that's mining platinum that China does not have 100% control of. Boom. Price manipulation ends. Buy yourself some platinum. Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent, but I know exactly what the fuck's going on with platinum. So these guys ought to hire me to run their companies. I'll tell them that we're. And the Osmium Institute, the Germans ought to already be talking to Clean Air Metals. to get the osmium, because there's osmium and it's ethically sourced platinum, and that's like 30 ounces of platinum. You get 1 ounce of osmium to make crystallized osmium out of. So there's back last when I was dealing with the Crystallized Osmium Institute, there's no new sources ethically sourced of osmium. I'm like, yeah, but there's going to be, because I knew about clean air metals back then. Oh, I'm not forgetting about the crystallized osmium. I told him about clean air metals over 2 years ago. I says, you need to hook up with these guys. They're going to be mining some new platinum out of the ground, and they're not controlled by South Africa, so it's ethically sourced. And being how it's on North American continent grounds, yeah, there ain't no slave labor here, baby. This is the most ethical mined area of the planet, is America and Canada area. You know, funny thing about Vietnam, I'm looking at starting an import-export business so I can buy gems out of Vietnam, because their economy, their country, controls their economy to the point that they don't allow industrial mining for gems, but yet they're very gem rich in several types of gems. So you can get real good prices of unmanipulated raw crystal gems out of the ground from Vietnam, directly shipped to you because you'll be buying directly from the miner or the family that's mining that hill and that valley for that one in particular type of mineral, crystal, or gem that you're going for. And you can really get some authentic pieces out of the ground, and then you can facet and manipulate them and put them in whatever you want and facet them and all this other stuff. Oh, gold and silver monopoly is busted for sure, bro. Or not gold and silver, platinum. Platinum manipulation is busted wide but frail open. And at the worst time for China possible. On top of the yuan digital CBDC collapsing on them, the platinum control, the manipulation they had is collapsing on them, and they still have to buy more platinum. So they're going to have to now spend more money. Right now, if they had to buy, they bought half the world's supply of platinum last year. They bought 2.3 million ounces of platinum for contracts they have to make new engines for 10 different car companies that use platinum. That tells me they're hydrogen. But this year, if they have to buy that much platinum again, it's already 30% more expensive. What's 30% of 2.5 million ounces of platinum? We're talking billions. We're talking a lot of money. They have to, and they don't have it. Their yuan's collapsing. Everything's collapsing over there, and it's like they're a walking train wreck. Hold on, I got a great thing to show you guys here. This is China. That's China right there. Get the fuck away from them. They are a train wreck in progress. Oh, girl, I got a crystallized osmium gem I'm going to be making. It's going to be awesome. September, I'll have the first couple ready. I'm going to be offering them online on our website. And also, I want to see if Economic Ninja will have some outlets I can go with to distribute them. But yeah, I like gems. I got quite a few gems. I got about 12 or 13 gems right now. Not the expensive ones, low three figure, like $100 or $200 maybe. And actually quite a few in the $60 or $70, $80. You should. You absolutely should, man. There's money to be made there, bro. Excuse me. I just took a hit. Or shall I say? All right now. Sweet Lift by Ozzy. Yeah, like that gem you're showing right there. half of it. Oh, it's, I don't want to say anything. Oh, here I am giving away my secrets and shit. I don't want to be doing that. Yeah, it's going to look different. It's going to be the same but different. That's funny, huh? It's going to be the same but different. Sound like a snake oil salesman. Just drink yourself 3 liquid ounces of this rattlesnake juice, and you'll feel fine. After you're 6 foot under, you'll feel just fine. So it's not actually a lie. Yeah, no, it's an awesome sector to get a residual income and actually possible property ownership off of. For a short time, yes. For about 5 months, because of what I bought, they didn't have any. But that was over 1.5 years ago, and they've got more since then. But for a short period of time, yes, I did buy them out. And it didn't take much. There wasn't much to be bought out. It's a small market cap, baby. Small market cap. I pulled a ninja where he just got 1. I got 30. And they were like, oh, well, we ain't got no more right now. Government always tries to keep extra money, bro. Always. And yeah, that's a good thing to actually get people money that's owed to them and just take a percentage of it. That's a sweet business. That's a good karma business, actually. Yes, Jay. They have gone up 200%. I got them for 25. They're now 75. Sucks for everybody else. It's not a big increase, but you know, hey, it's an increase. That's why I got the saying, these things right here is going to be well worth getting. Oh no, that's not it. Oh shit! Now I need to find my banner. Hold on a second here. I got it here somewhere. There it is. That's why I say that. Because those 3, you'll do fine if you got silver, platinum, and crystallized osmium. Crystallized osmium goes up about 15% year over year. Fucking hell of a good fucking increase. You can't get no other better. There's no guarantee, but if you look at the history, it's pretty much just guarantee. It's about a 15% year over year increase. Great investment. Platinum, the platinum manipulation is ending. I would buy it if you didn't already buy it. For the past 2.5 years, I've been telling you to buy it. I'd buy it now. If you don't want to buy it now, if there is a dip, buy it. But I don't know if it's going to be much lower than what it is now for long. Because what happens is you get a higher low, and what that means is it'll go from 950 to 1100, and then it'll drop back down to 1000, and then it'll go up to 1300, then it'll drop back down to 11. Then it'll go up to 1,500. Then it'll drop back down to 13. See, every low is going to be higher, and it's going to be consecutively higher highs as well. And if you look at platinum chart, as a matter of fact, let me show you. See if I got this thing saved here. No, not that one. Sure. Let's see if I got one going here. Okay, it's only given 24 hours. This sucks. Let's go. All right, let me see. I hate this stuff. All right, let me go back here and share screen. Present, share screen. It's a bad representation because I don't do this shit. I'm not good at doing this shit. But if you look here, okay, hold on. How do we? Anyhow, right down here. And it won't let me draw a line. Damn it. Okay, right down here. It was at 5 something. And then your next low is 8 something. And then your next low is 872, so even higher. And then your next low is 894. Now it's up to 13. So your next low is probably going to be 1,050, 1,060. Each low is higher. And if that is happening, sweet jubila, buy yourself some. It's going somewhere. High premiums, you know, it's the same premium as if you bought it at 1,000. Yeah. Yeah, $200 premium. You bought it at 1,000. You're still up fucking 180 now because the price is going up. The reason why platinum's a high premium is because everybody knows it's worth more than what they're saying, and the premium is going to stay high until it gets to its normal price. Then it'll drop down to $30 or $40 an ounce, but you'll be paying $6,000 for that ounce because that's the average price of platinum. In reality, it's just not the one we're in because we're in a manipulated world. Even after 1933 and the reset of gold, platinum was still twice the price of gold. So even in a reset in the history, and all we can do is go through history. In the history, if there's a gold reset, platinum still maintains its value of twice the value of gold. Only until the South Africa, who mines 80% of platinum, signed up with the One Belt Road Initiative and BRICS, did platinum ever go below the price of gold. So once that ends, and if you look at South Africa, that motherfucker's ending. It's ending quick. They're like taking a fast track to hell. Yeah, exactly. And look at what the palladium has on it. See what the palladium eagle's valued at. Let's see if I can get a picture of that. Ah, shit. Oh, I can't believe I can't see a price tag on it. Oh, there it is. Let me share screen and show you guys what the United States Mint thinks. You see this right here? This is a palladium, 1 ounce palladium 2024, 1 ounce palladium coin from the US Mint. And right here where my cursor is going in a big circle, that's a 25. So the US Mint, the sovereign mint of America, values palladium at $25 an ounce. So technically it should be half the price of gold if things worked like that. Interesting, huh? A membrane. I'm insane in the membrane. Insane in the brain. I don't remember the name of that song. It didn't go like that. It was more rapish that I did. It was more R&B, the song. So what y'all want to talk about now? I brought some interesting shit to the table. Y'all bring me some shit. Man, I'm eating some Reese's Cups right now, if you're wondering. They kind of sort of have, JM. They've reduced their workforces at the end of last year to 75%. And I haven't looked to see if they continuously have reduced it. But, I mean, seriously, take a look at it. Do a little research on your own. You'll find out. A majority of their fucking platinum mines are at 2,200 meters. Now do yourself some research and find out. Google now if you want. And find out What is the temperature at 2,200 meters under the earth, and how long could a person work there and successfully live? You'll be shitting your pants when you find out. Man, there's shitloads of problems. Try fresh air and fucking cool fresh air, and then getting fucking and then there's so many issues. That's why I love Clean Air Metals. Clean Air Metals in Thunder Bay, Canada, did an open pit gold mine 400 meters down. So there's no rock mining, because and I did a report on the veins. They run them sideways and a little down, and their hard rock mining is probably not going to go below 600 meters. And the first 400 of that's open pit. So they're only going down 200 meters. So when they're running water, when they're running power, when they're running elevators, manpower up and down, they're at 1/10 of what the South African platinum miners are. So their expense of mining, as far as manpower, shooting fresh air down there, fuel, time, they're going to be so profitable. And right now their stock's only like 4.5 cents a share. And they're going to be more profitable than the Pala mines and Angola mines. And their stocks are at $6 and $7 a share. Yeah, there you go. They've got a great freaking underground cave system where and there's cool air running through it too because of the temperature differentials. Yeah, I know. It costs between $1,100 and $1,300 right now just to mine an ounce of platinum and turn it into an ingot and then into a coin. And well, before when I said this, I said you could buy it at 25% discount because we were getting it $950 an ounce. But right now, you are paying the actual cost of mining and minting an ounce of platinum, $1,300. No one's making a freaking profit off of that. Once it goes up to $1,500, the miners will start making $100 to $200 profit an ounce after 14 years of not making any money and still being in business. It's amazing how that shit happens when China's funding everything. What's up, JM?
Hey, Neil, and everybody. How's it going?
Oh, I was just bringing some interesting shit to the table today because I was bored and I felt like it.
Yeah, I missed the first little bit, but... and I missed maybe 5 minutes or 20 minutes ago. But
digital currency that's failing.
Yeah, I was here for a good chunk of it.
I liked how they were explaining what the Chinese people were doing to get around it on a local level, because people are always speculating how it'll work, when in reality all you got to do is go online and find out what China's doing because it's happening right now. So you get a use case by seeing how they're doing the peer-to-peer transfer, how they're exchanging goods and services and just totally getting around any kind of traceable money, and it's working for them.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you shared that video too, because when you first started talking about this, I don't know, maybe what was it, a week ago? I think like last Friday you were talking about it a bit.
Yeah.
I was looking it up, and like 90% of my search results came up not saying that at all, and went right to how
I know
the Chinese government's bolstering it, and they're doing all these advertising campaigns. Well, okay, that does make sense, but they're not acknowledging that it's failing. So I ended up actually sharing that video.
Everyone needs to know, because that quails the stupid of we're getting a CDBC. Again, I did a video as well where Nigeria, the country of Nigeria, forced their people to use it and it failed. China is the largest of 3 countries in a row that the CDBC failed. The people rejected it on a base moral level. They just refused to use it. It's not going to happen here in America, because those are 3 countries where the governments control their people through a communistic or socialistic government. We don't have that here in America. It'll be so much harder to pull the bullshit over our eyes.
Yeah.
Especially as long as they don't, shut me down.
But you were right to mention as well that it's China's being used as a test market.
Yes, they are. And so was Nigeria. In Nigeria, they thought that the richest man, one of the richest men in the world, the prince or whatever he is, who, by the way, opened up a oil refinery larger than anything OPEC has, because OPEC's running low on oil, and Nigeria is going to be the largest refiner of oil on the continent of Africa here shortly. That's a big dynamic power shift. Sorry to go off topic. But yeah, and it failed in Nigeria. And it's going to be a future refining nation of the world's oil. And the CDBC failed there by the people. Again, the people rejected it, not the government. Government pushed it, gave incentives, did all this other crap. Then it happens here in China. The government gave all kinds of incentives, but still pulled that it's not private. And we're going to control you shit. And once that happens, no matter what nation that occurs in, people don't like being slaves. Bottom line. Africans don't like it. Orientals don't like it. And trust me, the Americans wouldn't like it either. So it's not happening. Although there is a lot of people pushing. Just like I was getting upset about some YouTubers saying, oh, World War III is coming because Israel did all this shit. I'm like, oh my God. So what did I say on our channels? Hey, that was the quickest World War III we've ever had, huh? Maybe quit selling fear and look at the facts and see how much of an idiot you're going to look like when it doesn't happen.
Well, people are getting brain screwed.
I know, it sucks.
That's a great way to strengthen their mind control. Is have the people confused, give them confusing and contradicting messaging.
Divided we fall, united we stand. I bring the message of truth of what's happening. No bullshit. That's why I don't have many viewers. That's why like the good things sell. They're good marketing things. And I go and you can go to Tesla and Benjamin Franklin, I think it was, were having fights all the time over promoting their products. And one of the main one that we know of is the AC to DC. And I think Franklin was like electrocuting freaking elephants and dogs, saying that Tesla's DC power is a killer. And Tesla just didn't have the promotional background to promote his stuff. But luckily, some smart scientists got back and said, no, we'll go with AC, DC, long distance, long line, short line at the same time. But the reason why Benjamin Franklin wasn't even a damn scientist, he was a promoter. He bought all of the inventions, most of the inventions that he promoted, he bought. He didn't even come up with them. He was just a better promoter. And that it's all about promotion. And if the people don't buy it, it's not going to be promotable. And the people aren't going to buy a CDBC unless we have enough dumbass YouTubers pushing it down our throats.
Well, and it's great to to mention to people. I always do if I'm in line at a retail and like even their debit or credit cards. There's glitches or the internet goes down. I never miss an opportunity to pull out cash and pay and say, yeah, like that's why you should be rejecting the digital or at least embracing the cash. And even more to the point, like let's get it rebased so there's actual monetary metals back in our change, and that change can be exchangeable for paper.
I have a theory on that as well. We're entering a repeat of an economy that's going to last about 27 years, and that's about the time it's going to take to unscrew everything up from the fiat dollar and what's happened to be able to even come close to having a reasonable gold and silver backed monetary system. So what's happening is the government's repeating an 1836 to 1862 economy where Congress passed a law allowing banks to create their own money and use it as an American dollar. And they all competed for the American citizens' banking. So it was good for the American citizens. We got high returns of interest on savings and low interest rates on loans, and everyone prospered. And what's happening right now, because we're having a problem with the fiat dollar, we're trying to get off the fiat dollar, but there's a lot of contracts out there and a lot of money out there in fiat dollar system. So to eat that up, they come up with, and Congress already passed it like 2 weeks ago, where financial institutions can create stable coins backed 1-to-1 with the dollar, which is a similar repeat of the economy I just spoke of from 1836 to 1862. And after that time period of about 26, 27 years, we'll be able to have squared away all the contracts and debts that are in fiat that other countries have. And we'll be able to change over to a new dollar and print a new dollar 100% backed by gold and silver. And now who I have to back me on that is Judy Shelton, because I saw a interview David Morgan did with her, and she basically said, not the digital part, but as far as how long it would take to get America to where legally we would be able to, with the gold that we could prove that we have, back the dollar with a gold and silver base. She said it would take 20 to 25 years. And if I'm correct, Judy Shelton's going to be the next Federal Reserve Chairman, working on putting us in that direction. But in the meantime, while all these contracts and legalities take place, we're going to have a physical dollar and a digital currency dollar through financial institutions. And it's going to be interesting, and there's going to be a lot of money to be made. But it will change back over to a gold-backed system, because it's a transition period, just like the 1836 to 1862 was a transition period out of one monetary system to another that we were unsure of how to do at the time. So they threw that law out to where banks could create their own money to make up the difference till the government figured out what the fuck they were going to do. And that's basically what's going to happen now.
So I got a quick question for you, Neil, and for the chat too. Like, I don't know if you know the answer, but with these central bank digital currencies that are being proposed and or rolled out,
it's not a central bank digital currencies that's going to be rolled out. Not here in America. It's going to be financial institutions rolling out stable coins backed 1-to-1 with the dollar. That's where the change is happening here in America from the China and the Nigeria central bank digital currency that they tried. And Congress already passed that law. So it's already going to happen. So there is not going to be a CDB in America.
Okay.
I guarantee it. I have since my first video. As a matter of fact, my very first video I did was saying exactly what I'm saying now, to let you know how far back in history you can go to see me being right. 3 years ago I said this.
So when they're issuing these stable coins, they're not being issued as debt. They're being issued as an asset again then.
And that's what fucking helps out the American economy. And the more financial systems that get involved and does that, will also have to buy the physical dollar, which will absorb any kind of M2 or M3 money supply coming back to America, causing hyperinflation. So not only will we not have hyperinflation, but we'll have an increase in our asset base. So we're going to prosper like motherfuckers. And I've said that too. Position yourself appropriately. Don't let these fear mongers, who are absolutely annoying the hell out of me, do anything to keep you from positioning yourself from success that's coming.
So now, are those stable coins going to have any relationship to like XRP or XLM, do you think?
Now see, there's a different scenario of the digital currency part. That's part of the ISO or ISP 2022 or something like that. It's a bulk of digital assets that are going to be used to kind of sort of replace the SWIFT system, because there's obviously BRICS countries are unhappy with the SWIFT system, and other countries that aren't BRICS are also unhappy with it. So there's going to be a workaround, and again, for the 26 or 27 years that they're going to be creating a digital money from the financial institutions, these others cryptos are going to be used as a parallel for a SWIFT system, so that way countries could still do business with us without having to worry about what are they called, restrictions, or political payback through the monetary system, as which was seen in SWIFT under the Biden administration. The new ISPO 2222, whatever, those, it's like XRP, XLM, Algo, HBAR, and one or two others are kind of sort of worldwide regulated and accepted by all governments. So they're a different stage of crypto. They actually have been accepted by most of the governments worldwide as a replacement for this, or a sister to the SWIFT system, without the regulations of the government control of the SWIFT system, basically. So those ones are different than the crypto, that currency that's going to be created as a dollar system, because the dollar system is going to be for inside country. It'll be able to be used other words, because there's also a credit card system coming on the digital asset market side, and it's known as ZBCN, the one that I'm getting into anyhow. It's known as ZBCN. It's already got MasterCard backing it, and countries right now are signing up to it. So basically, you'll have a crypto credit card, and it's going to be known as ZBEC or ZBCN, along with either some others that are out there. And like I said before, it's a digital economy overlaid upon our regular economy now. And it's going to be like that for about 25 years, 27 years until the total implementation of a digital thing happens and other things happen, and then it'll change again. Yeah, ISO 222. Thank you, Kelly. I'm never sure what the hell it actually is, but that one. She knows. You can ask her. She knows what it is. But what was your question? I'm sorry. Oh, you want me to put that up? My bad.
Are you asking what my question was? Or?
Yeah, because I kept talking. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you did, but that's okay. Like in a roundabout way, you sort of answered my question.
It's the weave.
Because I just had this theory that for any central bank that's going to try to roll out a digital currency, are they going to be issuing that as debt, just as they've issued all our banknotes? And then I was also thinking the fraud that is, like anyone that's getting Social Security checks or Social Security payments, that is already a digital currency.
Yeah, exactly. So actually,
and if it's being issued from the central bank as debt, then they're more than double dipping. It's like they're triple dipping.
But it's not a center. It's issued by a government agency, and that government agency goes through different regulations for the debt and how it works. And actually, the way we can save Social Security is undo what President Carter did that first put it in jeopardy.
Yeah.
And no one seems to know what that is, but it's actually still draining Social Security to this day. And that's the Forest Service, the Federal Forest Service complete budget is being taken out of the Social Security Administration's funds, which means every fucking payday for a United States Federal Forest Service agent and retirees, all of their money is being paid to them out of the Social Security Administration. And no one wants to talk about that. But if you end that, that would save Social Security. But then we'd have to find some other way to balance the budget, and no one wants to talk about that. See, because that would put it back on the politicians' heads. Right now it's on our heads, and we don't know it, and they like it that way.
That's right. Yeah, I just wanted to share the screen here because I mentioned earlier. So this is a chart showing the month of June. So it's just this 1 month. And I don't know if you can make it full screen there, Neil.
Yes, I can. Hold on just 1 second.
So the red line is charting the price performance of platinum. The blue is the price performance of silver. And the orange goldy color one is gold. So, that's not really long term, but that shows you the 1 month, and that shows you the momentum that platinum is getting.
And that also shows you that Neil said buy silver, platinum, and crystallized osmium. I didn't say gold, and you can see why.
So let's just put it to be fair, because people say I just picked a spot out of midair, right? Or I picked a spot to make them look good. So rather than doing the 1 hour, we'll just switch it to 1 month so that you've got a much longer perspective on them. So this is going back to 1991 now. 25, 30, that's like almost 35 years. And
black and red.
Yeah, you can actually see how close silver and gold are on that time frame, and
that's
how cheap platinum is compared.
And actually, that represents again why I say silver and platinum, because silver is performing as well as gold, and platinum will be performing better than both of them, because that's an unhistorically not normal anomaly the past since 2015. If you look at the charts, all of them went down a little bit, and the rest of them started to recover. And platinum never fucking recovered.
So that's from 2015 there.
Okay. No, okay. I'd say from 2023, it looks bad for that fucker. Actually, no, from 2015. It shouldn't have taken such a dramatic down. Go to 2010 and see what it looks like. That right there is a flat chart. For it might look the same.
That's around 2010 there.
Yeah, see how more robust from 2011 to 2015 the platinum price is comparatively, and then see the separation on the down. It's like on that down, it's the same, and then it starts the spread, and the spread gets wider and wider and wider from that date of about 2011. Yeah.
So this does also show like how much of a champion gold has been through all of this.
Yeah, but it's also, to me, showing how silver and platinum are going to outperform it.
I think it shows, price suppression. Really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll call it. Yeah, call it what it is. Price suppression. And platinum's price suppression just broke because you can't control a commodity when there's none left above ground supply.
Yeah. So
and
to be fair,
we're 3 months.
We'll switch this back to weekly, so it shows kind of the medium term. This is going back to 2018. Again, the orange gold colored line is gold, blue silver, and platinum is red.
Yeah, you see
on a small screen.
See how close those blue and red and gold are up until 2020, and then look at the separation. I mean, they're touching in 2020. Well, now what's that? From 2020?
Yeah, I tried to cherry pick. That's like April of 2020. That's actually a decent.
That shows platinum, man, is the best runner. And the last, platinum and silver. I'm looking right now, the past month, platinum silver has been the best plays of all of that. Look at the run up. And it's
I just want to cherry pick it now, so it's a 5-year. We actually got there's a 5-year chart. That's June 2020 to June 2025.
Platinum hasn't even started its run.
And silver's actually just on a 5-year, just past gold. See that?
Yep. That's what I'm saying. That last little 1/8 of an inch, both the red and the blue, look at the upward direction compared to the yellow, the gold colored one.
Yeah. So I completely missed the chat there. Okay, I guess it wasn't flying by anyway. So I'll stop sharing that, but I can come back to it at any time that you want. Oh, now you got to re-add us back in. There you go.
Yeah, that's China right there, sitting on the railroad tracks, waiting to get run over.
From behind.
Yeah, they're not paying attention. They're reading their charts.
Well, I've heard that the Chinese, I guess due to their historical culture and everything, has a difficult time understanding the cultures of the Middle East. And they just don't get it. It wasn't Trump that was saying that, it was someone else.
You'd be interested. I got some information on about both China and Japan and Islamic Middle East. Here's a statistic, a fact, not statistic, a fact that nobody seems to know. In Japan, it is illegal to do business with an Islamic, and they are not allowed to own property in Japan. Now, in China has about 1 million indigenous Islamic Western Asian population, indigenous peoples in concentration camps right now, or what they call re-education camps. They are also very, very, very racist against Africans, chasing them out of towns. I did a video on them where it shows them physically not allowing these Africans back to their houses or anything, chasing them out of town, forcing them to go back to Africa.
Was that the Uyghurs?
I don't know what they call them. All I know is what I see in the videos I show. So when I hear people say China and Africa get along, I laugh my ass off because that's the biggest one of the big lies, one of many of the big lies people are being told. China hates both Islamics and Africans. They are very racist people. You know, they came up with a word for white people, and it's a derogatory word. It's called Kwai Lo. They didn't have that word before. I think it's 1819. There was 1890 Bach Wars where we actually consumed and got the 100-year lease on. No, excuse me, it was 70 something, 1870 something, where we got a 100-year lease on Hong Kong. We got that because of the Bach Wars. Be quiet, Ginger. And they came up with a word after the Bach Wars for the white people called Kwai Lo. It was brand new, introduced in their wordage, their vocabulary, and it means white devil. They are very, very racist people. No one talks about that. Yes.
Kwai Lo.
Kwai Lo. I was called that so many damn times when I was taking Kung Fu by these fucking masters and shit. Oh, he's a Kwai Lo. It's like calling a black person a Nigrata.
Well,
but
that's interesting.
So it's okay, you can do it.
Because I've heard and known that they call us white devil.
Yeah,
I didn't know what the actual Mandarin or Chinese word for it was.
Yeah, it's Kwai Lo. Yeah, and the Hawaiians call us Howleys. Same typical derogatory thing is accepted. They change the meaning up so that way they can still say it and pretend that it's not a derogatory racist comment.
Yeah. I think I would just reply by saying ni hao.
Oh, I just tell them to fuck off. That's actually how I got to learn Wing Chun. I was being a dick to the last teacher of Wing Chun from the descendancy of Yip Man's Kung Fu. And he's called me Kwai Lo. I called him a little fucking Chinaman. And he laughed at me. And we weren't friends, but we got along. It was it was weird. He was a weird guy. Yeah, I'm a weird guy. He hated white people, but he liked us, kind of thing. He brought this guy over from China. He had a clothing factory in China. He fucking defected, came over here to America, opened up the Bak Mei Lim Yong Academy. It's the white eyebrow in the dragon form. His name was Hong Zhong Lao, and he's got a picture of me on his wall of fame where we were Chi-Sound together. Quiet, Ginger. He's about.
Hey Neil, Jay's got a good question for you.
What up? Oh, let me put it up on thing here. Sorry, that cat's getting to me. She's looking at the wall and meowing. I'm like, what the fuck? Do you guys think we're in the middle of a platinum squeeze? No, I don't think it. We're actually in it. I've been telling people about it for a while. No one wants to fucking acknowledge it. Yeah. Yes, we are in a platinum squeeze. And yes, you will be quiet, Ginger.
And they never mentioned silver. Like I've never seen or heard mainstream media like feature silver, even as an industrial metal, and talk about it and promote it or bring attention to it. It's like they always just completely ignore it. Hey, Gadita Oso.
Hello, yeah. Sorry, I'm going to butcher your name. Gatita Oso. Oh yeah, mainstream is definitely on that, and platinum.
Yeah, the only thing I hear about platinum is the catalytic converters getting stolen.
And people think they're still being used for catalytic converters. I did a video on every 10 years, the auto industry changes contracts for different minerals to be used in catalytic converters. It goes from palladium to platinum to palladium to platinum. The typical routine was the difference of platinum and palladium was the price. It fluctuated. One would be higher for about 10 years and the other would be higher. And that was traditionally charted path of the price differential of the two, to where they had 10-year contracts to purchase them for catalytic converters. Then all of a sudden the prices went haywire. So they quit buying platinum for catalytic converters, or quit buying, and then started buying palladium, and then the palladium price started getting manipulated, so they went back to I think platinum, but then there became a shortage of platinum, so they switched back to palladium, and it's like people think it's only platinum. It's like, no, only 50% of them have platinum, and another 50% have palladium. It's like there's so many lies out there about platinum. It's pathetic. And these big YouTubers, most of the big YouTubers who are PM people, they're the most ignorant on platinum out there for their voice and the level of people they're getting to, for their knowledge base on precious metals. No, what they should call themselves is gold and silver maximalists, not PM guys. PM guys know a lot of. I know about gold. I know about silver, palladium, iridium, fucking platinum. I don't call myself a precious metals guy. I'm gonna call you. I mean, that's just my personal feeling. Those guys,
gold and silver for sure get the most coverage. They probably get 95% of the coverage in the precious metals.
And that's psychological bullshit, because most of your money right now is being made on platinum and no one's talking about it. So the platinum's going to move so much before they start talking about it that only retail will be buying in the higher prices, getting screwed as usual. And then it'll get a bad name again, keeping the good investment for the people who actually know what's going on instead of just fucking listening to other people who don't know what's going on.
So, and Jay says here, platinum demand seems to hinge on hydrogen vehicles, according to the DeepSeek chats. And that's interesting because earlier Neil was just showing that video about the Honda rocket engine, which is in part fueled by hydrogen. Liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen.
And that's a whole new rocket design, that manufacturing design they're coming up with. So they're going to build lots of them. They are using platinum. And China, as I said, bought half of the world's supply of platinum in 2024 to sustain 10 contracts it has with 10 different car companies to build a new type of car engines, more than one car type of engine, but engines for these 10 car companies. They're supposed to come out later this year or next year. And they bought 2.3 million ounces specifically for a new engine designs that are being manufactured. And that's why we have a shortage right now. And well, that's why there's this platinum squeeze going on, and we only have a 3-month supply above ground, because never before in history have we had a technological advancement where we've needed that much of that certain mineral that there's so little of on this planet. So there's no chart out there, so no one's looking at it, no one's freaking out over it, except for Neil Hahn.
In that video, because I didn't see the whole thing, did it mention what those rocket engines are going to be used for?
They're competing. It's Cold War all over again, bro. Except for it's a space race. Every country's going to get involved. Other countries getting involved with some cool ass tech.
Because we're
going to have to invest more money in NASA if we want to be not last.
I have a sneaky suspicion that Honda actually wants to use them for airlines.
Space liner, but yes.
I mean, like even for commuter planes and whatnot, because it's refuelable. And so if they can do that, think of how much like carbon emissions and pollution they'd be cutting back on by using a liquid hydrogen, liquid oxygen rocket engine.
It's not that easy. You got to look at ascent and descent, and they went straight up and straight down. You're talking about going vertical, then changing back over. That's a whole new set of rules. They might not have the science down to be able to do that.
I think that's their vision, though, because I do remember in that video.
Yeah, I'm sure it's their vision, but they ain't got it right now.
It's their mission to be in mobility, right?
But they have proven their space capability. I did a video on them drilling into an asteroid that they sent a satellite to collect samples of about 1.5 years ago. And that actually, the samples have already made it back to Earth. And one of the things they determined, this is why I'm real critical of they're saying, oh, an asteroid is going to hit the Earth. Okay, yeah, whatever. Because when the video came in of this Japanese satellite launched a probe to this asteroid to drill in, and they couldn't drill too much. So what they did is they had like I don't know exactly what it was. Basically, I call it like a shotgun shell, and they shot it at the surface to put a little hole in it so they could, when they started drilling, And they knew their drill would, dull it quickly, so they wanted to get as far in as possible before they started drilling. And when they did that little shock, fucking 1/3 of that fucking asteroid separated because it wasn't fused together. So there's different levels of asteroids accumulation together to keep them solidified. Not all asteroids are solid. And even though it looked solid, it wasn't solid. It was a grouping of smaller rocks all coagulated together through time and gravity. They were able to eventually get their core sample, but it was a lot deeper than they anticipated. They put like a 3-meter crater in that son of a bitch, and they were expecting it to be 2 or 3 inches. So we have a lot to learn about these asteroids. So when they say killer asteroid, there's a 50-50 chance that a killer asteroid can be taken out by a nuke, but we just don't realize it because we think it's solid and it's not. And it's already been proven that a lot of them aren't solid like we think they are.
Well, the vast majority of them burn up entering the atmosphere, right?
And that's why you see a multiple, you see it burn up and it break apart. Those are the unstable asteroids that aren't fully formed, but they think they are. And they're saying, oh, it's going to be a big one, and it turns into like 27 asteroid shooting stars all together. It broke apart because of it's not one. It won't hit the Earth because it's not a solid object, even though it looks solid in space. It takes millennium for those things to harden into rocks. Otherwise, they're just originally what they are, hardened components drawn together through magnetic attraction and gravity. That's why at the center of most asteroids are platinum and iron. The heaviest elements out there.
Probably some gold in there too, because gold's pretty dense.
Oh yeah, no, it builds up. And that's my thought patterns on the rings of Saturn. If anyone remembers high school, and I don't know, maybe it might not be high school for you all, science class where they did the centrifugal force to separate elements and shit through the spinning. I look up at Saturn and see the rings of Saturn. I'm like, how long has that been spinning? And why wouldn't the same principle of a centrifugal, like separating your blood and plasma, they stick it in this machine, spins round and round and round real fast to separate it? Same thing's going on in Saturn. So why haven't the minerals and elements separated themselves by atomic weight in all of those rings where there's like 77 rings? How many elements are there? Isn't that a thought?
I have a feeling that they are. They must be separating.
Logic dictates that what we know right now and what I've seen of medicine and centrifuges, and I'm thinking, yeah, that's separated out by minerals. You don't have to mine shit. You just need to stick a net up there or a vacuum and start picking which mineral class do you want. Vacuum it up. It's probably as pure as you can get in the universe. But I like thinking of asteroid mining, and when I think asteroid mining, I'm thinking more of a vacuum. Because everyone has these problems. Oh, well, how are you going to get the asteroid down? Well, why are you fucking with asteroids? Why don't you go to Saturn and see what it's already got? It might already have a gaseous form of platinum that you can just fucking absorb and compress it, and it turns into pure platinum.
I find it amazing that we're told space is a vacuum, and somehow we can get back out of it. It seems like a paradox.
Well, no, it just depends on how big the vacuum tube is. Obviously, it's huge.
Yeah.
But that would mean that there's an end to it, and a top and a bottom.
And something causing the suction.
There's a lot of questions. I did a video on this tunnel being created right now, and from Chicago going northwest for 800 miles underground, so it's a straight line, and they're using all kinds of cool stuff, and it's basically to catch neutrinos from the Big Bang so they can answer a lot of these fucking questions. But it's an 800-mile long tunnel they're digging, and it's got to be straight. Costing a lot of money to find out the answer to that question. And they also already have a cube in Antarctica that's a 1/4 mile by 1/4 mile cube that's got sensors in it that are also supposed to detect neutrinos, but they're not getting enough information, so they're digging a tunnel 800 miles long so they can do another experiment to get the stuff. Hey, I appreciate you being here, Callie. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I enjoy all of it, all the time. Some of it's more interesting than others. But I try and make it unique and interesting, where, stuff most people aren't talking about, or things I think you might want to know to make a maybe better informed decision on your financing and not get screwed over by people telling you one thing when it's not true. But that's just why I do what I do.
Yeah, a lot of people are misinformed. I'm sure I'm misinformed on quite a bit as well.
Well, what sucks is I got a lot of good information and I'm not making any money yet to be able to do anything with it. Although next week I should have a job and there will not be hardly any live streams or videos from me because I'll be gone for about 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. For hopefully 5 months. And at the end of that, I'll hopefully have a house and a separate land and probably a fucking boat building company and a gym company. A lot of things are going to happen. I'll still do videos this late night, probably mostly my kitty cat videos I'll damn sure keep up on. But we'll have days off and shit throughout. But it's like an hour drive each way. We're going to be 10-hour days. So it's going to be 12 hours of pure gone for work. And then I got about an hour before work. I'll have to do shit, me, cats, keep it clean, an hour after work. So 14 hours a day is gone and I'll sleep at least 6. I might have like 3 hours a day. Well, 2 hours a day. Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see how it works.
I have a feeling you're going to be happier there. I hope that you are.
I need to make some investments, man. Like this Clean Air Metals, it's too damn cheap. And then MJNA, I know Trump's going to mention he's going to make medical marijuana nationwide legal, and that's going to jump. And there's a lot of opportunities I don't want to miss, and I need some money. And for that, I need to go back to work. And then there's ZBCN, XLM, and Algo. HBAR, Digibytes. There's a lot of crypto I want. I want to buy some silver. Not too concerned about platinum. Not concerned at all about gold, because I already have plans to get gold for free. I'll do a video on it. How to get gold for free.
That's well.
Oh hell yeah, it is. And it's gonna. Oh man, it's gonna be awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna get a lot of gold for free actually. If the plan works out, if my gym design is successful and 1,000 people buy 1,000 of my gems, I will have 2,000 grams of gold for free. However many ounces that is. And that's if only 1,000 people buy my gems. And I have a feeling more than that will. A lot more. That's why I don't care to buy gold. I see other ways to get it where you don't have to. I'm weird. I see things in a perspective that most people don't conceive, but yet they're still feasible. It's just most people don't conceive them. I mean, the information's out there. Most people don't put 2 and 2 together, or 6 and 8, or whatever it is. They're not because most of these. Several of my ideas are definitely bizarre, but the others aren't. They're just commonsensical. Just most people, in my opinion, they're commonsensical. Just most people aren't, in my opinion, thinking commonsensical, and that is my opinion because several things. Our government's pushing us to where all of our time is going to have to be used working to pay bills or raise children, to where we don't have time to see what we're missing, much less see and invest. So I think it's a big strategy to screw basically most of Americans, most of the world, into achieving a better financial situation for themselves by causing things intentionally to distract us and keep us off target of enriching our lives and our children's lives through generational wealth. It's really sad. Parents used to be able to keep their houses and leave them to their kids. Fuck, I've never heard anyone do that. Reverse mortgages come out. They intentionally steal shit from us to keep us away from generational wealth, which will actually increase your family's livelihood long term, which supposedly anyone who has children should want to do. But yet no one does it. This is baffling. And it's because of all these distractions that are caused by others that keep us from doing that while they're stealing that opportunity or becoming wealthy because of the situation they cause, keeping other people from gaining or maintaining their wealth. It's just it's kind of evil, and that needs to change.
Yeah, I always thought it should be about trying to set up the next generation for success.
That's how it should be. And not only that, you should be living that lifestyle to where you're successful, even if it's small scale. If you only pay a house off in 20 years and you have a 30-year loan, and then you buy a second one, and then you say you die and leave it to your kids and it's half paid off, how much better off are they than if you just die and leave them in debt? I mean, you see the difference there in long-term payoff? So it will cause a little bit of, smart long-term thinking and not short-term thinking, which is what our government and everyone's been pushing, because China infiltrated us and got a hold of our education department and kind of fucked up our schooling, and it's been a long-term thing. But fuck, I saw it coming. I didn't fucking even finish 10th grade, so I don't know what to tell you.
Daniel, I got to take off.
Yeah, it's been 2 hours. I'll talk to you later then, brother. Thank you for coming up, and I appreciate you bringing up that chart. That was a good chart.
Yeah, right on. I'll try to do that again sometime.
I appreciate it every time you come up. It's a joy.
Have a good night, everyone.
Take care, brother. There you go. See, leave something for the kids. Exactly. And actually, leaving the silver is the best investment for them, because its gain in value will probably go closer to gold and stick there, which means the monetary gain will be a much greater gain than if you had bought gold for them, in my personal opinion. But that's just my personal opinion. And I do hope everyone got a little bit of knowledge on what is actually going on with the CBDC in Japan and China, and how it's failing so big time it's going to collapse their economy. And see if maybe you agree with me by doing your own research, and then position yourself accordingly with the information that you gain by doing your own research off of this report and the information I've put forth on this report. And hopefully you will become a millionaire off of it and help a lot of people in your lifetime. If nothing else, leave your kids a lot of money and give them some good schooling so they're not stupid like most of the kids today. There you go. See, that's another reason why I really like about Alabama is they're actually the second lowest property tax in the nation. But see now, and here's a play on words. Yes, they are the second lowest property tax in the nation. But you want to know what the first lowest property tax is? Hawaii, because they have zero property tax. So what is actually the lowest property tax? Is Alabama, because if you have a tax, the lowest tax would be Alabama. If you don't have a tax, then Hawaii has no property tax. So when they say Alabama is the second lowest in property taxes in the nation, that's a bullshit. Of every state that has property tax, Alabama is the absolute lowest. They claim Hawaii is the lowest because it has no property tax, but that takes it out of the saying of lowest property tax. If there's no property tax, then it's not low. It's no property tax, and it doesn't fit in the segment of lowest property taxes in the nation. So even our government kind of fools us when they give out information with vernacular or wording. Vernacular, excuse me, not vernacular, vernacular. But anyhow, okay, I'm gonna let you guys go. I've been going for 2 hours and 10 minutes. I do appreciate you guys being here. I hope you became a little better informed, or at least got you some questions to be going in your head, where maybe you will go ahead and do your own research and then invest appropriately and become millionaires and help other people. Be kind, helpful, and grateful, because it's better than being a jerk. Buy some silver, some platinum, and crystallized osmium, because it brings you flowers from your neighbors. They'll start bringing you flowers if you have that shit. And you guys have a great week. I will talk to you later.